Hi everybody, this is Greg from Our Haunted Stuff. Today we will be looking at the second part of our tombstone investigation at Boothill Cemetary. It's really more of an urban exploration more than a paranormal investigation, but I hope you enjoyed just a set. Take a look.
Boothill Graveyard. Boothill Graveyard was founded in 1879 and used until 1884. In 1884, the new Tombstone City Cemetery was created and is still used today. Residents of Boothill include the John Heath Gang, Charlie Storms, Billy Clanton, Frank and Tom McClory, Marshall Fred White, and Margarita. Boothill was claimed by the Desert and Vandals. Headstones were stolen, graves were damaged, and in the 1920s, town folks started to research grave locations and replace and restored the headstones in their proper location.
So, we are here at Boothill Graveyard, City of Tombstone, and we are about ready to go into Boothill Graveyard. We're in Boothill Cemetery. And she said go down to row 1. Barton. Hello.
Hi.
I guess this Petron isn't on the end back here. In memory of Frank Bull, born August 5th, 1828, died August 26th, 1880. As you pass by, remember that as you are, once was I. And as I am, you soon will be. Remember me. I guess the crosses are unknowns. See John Hicks. Chaz Helm. Judge C. Lilly way over there. Tom Waters, unknown.
Do anything yet?
Nope, not yet. We'll see.
Let me know when you do.
I will. You know, I'm just basically sightseeing now.
You get stuff during the day? Do you ever
Yeah.
pick up stuff?
Yeah, they're just as busy, you know, it's just harder to see them.
That's fair.
Right.
So I went to visit my mom in Missouri a couple years ago, and I went to in Jefferson City. They have the Missouri State Penitentiary that's all closed down,
Right.
and there's the black hole literally in one section.
All right. So as we walk along here, we come to Billy Clanton, Tom McClory, Frank McClory, and then they were murdered in the streets of Tombstone. There's a lot of flies flying around my head, and that's irritating as hell. This is where they're buried. Here's Tom McClory, October 26, 1881. Here's Frank McClory. And here's Billy Clanton. Okay. And then Newman Haynes, Old Man Clanton, who's also died in 1881. Okay. Rodriguez Patron. Here we go. This is where they told me to start. Alright, let's see. Unknown, found in abandoned mine, 1882. He was found at the bottom of a 60-foot shaft of the Minute Mine. He was well dressed, indicating he was not a miner. No identification of any kind. We have unknown, another unknown here, another unknown here, and then Pat Burns. He died of pneumonia in 1882. Oh, this is sad. This is Eva Waters. She was only 3 months old. Florentino, 1882. Florentino was murdered in 1882. Florentino was found dead with several bullet wounds in his body, sometimes called Indian Charlie. Van Houten, murdered in 1879. He was beaten in the face with a stone until he died. The trouble was over his mining claim, which he had not recorded. Tom Waters. He got shot in 1880. He was the father of Eva Waters and likely the one T.J. Waters shot over the color of his shirt. Oh, horrible. Chaz Helm, shot by William McClory. McCauley, two hot-tempered ranchers who disagreed over the best way to drive cattle, fast or slow. We have a couple of unknowns here. Okay, Jonathan Barton. He died in 1881, but it doesn't say how. Okay. Lewis Davis died in 1882. Doesn't say how. Haldeman brothers hanged November 16th, 1900. Thoth Gregory Thoth. He died in 1882. Doesn't say how. Okay. Gregory Thomas. Or Gregory, small son of Gregory Thomas, or Thomas Gregory, who died of meningitis. Unknown. And there's Tombstone, I think, right there. Another unknown. Holo Lucero, killed by Indians. There's an unknown grave. There's another unknown grave. Peter Smith. Peter Smith was age 23. He was a native of Germany. He was struck on the back of his head with a poker and killed by Thomas Donald or Doland during a fight. Mrs. H.C. Smith died in 1882. There's an unknown. This is Jasper Vaughn. He was shot in 1882. Another unknown. Another unknown. Interesting thing about the unknown. These people's bodies, when they were found dead, their bodies were on display in Tombstone for up to 3 days. And if nobody could identify who they were, they would be buried here in Boothill under unknown. Okay. So here we're at Old Man Clanton. Newman Hayes, Old Man Clanton. He was killed in August of 1881. He with several other men was ambushed on a cattle drive by Mexicans. All but one man were killed. And I don't think he's related to the Clantons, although he is buried right next to them. Which is our next stop. So we got Billy Clanton, Tom McClory, and Frank McClory. Okay, murdered on the streets of Tombstone in 1881. Tragic results of the OK Corral battle, which take place between the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday and the Cowboys. These three men were killed and 3 were wounded. And again, that's Billy. There's Frank. And there's Tom. And then there's a memorial to him. Okay, so we have some unknowns here. James Hickey, 1881. Shot by William Claiborne in 1881. He was shot in the left temple by Claiborne for his over-insistence that they drink together. Wow. This is Dennis Cassadine. He was killed in 1879. No more information about that. Okay, and then we got some more unknowns here. Another unknown. Okay, right here we have John Hicks. Okay, Hicks was shot by Jeremiah McCormick, superintendent of the Lucky Cuss mine. It was a saloon brawl in 1879. Okay, Frank Bowles. His horse became frightened and threw him off. This caused a rifle to discharge and badly injure his knee. He lay in camp for several weeks without medical attention, and when friends took him to a doctor for amputation, it was too late. And this information was given to them by his daughter. It says here, in memory of Frank Bowles, born August 5th, 1828, died August 26th, 1880. And yeah, I already read this one. Okay, unknown. Another unknown. And this one is so unknown they don't even have a headstone.
Yeah, there's a couple of those.
Thomas Morgan died in 1882, but there's no more information on that. Joseph Wetzel, killed in 1882. He was stoned to death by Apaches. His friends were not far away, and it was thought that the Indians wanted to avoid attracting their attention by shooting him. Wow, so they got him alone and killed him. A. Deloach died in 1882, but no more information on that. Margarita, stabbed by Gold Dollar. Oh my gosh. 2 dance hall girls quarreling over a man, and Gold Dollar won. Oh, I definitely got to get this. I heard about that story when we went on the Birdcage Theater tour, and they talked about this. Alright, right here we have Jerry Sullivan. He died in 1881, but there's no backstory on that. Here's another headstone-free grave, obviously unknown. Another unknown here. Another unknown here. Unknown. Here's one with a name. Dan Dowd. Dan Dowd, Red Sample, Tex Howard, Bill Delaney, and Dan Kelly, legally hanged March 18th, 1884. These men were found guilty of killing several people during the robbery of a store in Bisbee. They were all hanged on one scaffold at the courtyard. And we tried to see the scaffold last night, but we couldn't. Here's Red Sample. And then there's Tex Howard. There's Bill Delaney. And Dan Kelly. Okay, here we go. Next row, there's an unknown. And here's an unknown. Unknown. Wow, here's one. John Heath. Or John Beather. This is John Heath. Oh. Two cowboys drowned. John King. Well, this one says John Heath taken from county jail and lynched by Bisbee mob in Tombstone, February 26, 1884. Another grave with no headstone. These look like there used to be a couple of graves with no headstones here. Here's one. Here's one. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you? Francis Southey. Oh, that's right. I'm starting at the wrong end. All right. Yeah, back there, John Heath. Taken from county jail and lynched by Bisbee mob, February 22nd, 1884. He was called the leader of the 5 men who were illegally hanged and was said to have planned the robbery. He was hanged from a telegraph pole a short distance from the courthouse. Then we had Francis Southey, which is right here. There's not really anything other than 1881 she died. Here's an unknown. Another unknown. Sorry about my camera being all shaky. Elise Billings died in 1886. There's no other information. Known. Mrs. R.L. Brown, 1882. Proprietress of a hotel and died a natural death. And the end of the information here was from friends and family. Another unknown. Freddie Fuss, died in 1882. Small boy who died from drinking stagnant or poisoned mine water. How sad. Joseph Manata, 1882 died. There's no other information. Unknown. Another unknown right next to it. I wonder if this could have been, it could have been a spouses or just 2 friends maybe. Brooks shot by a Chinaman. This occurred in front of the Yaples store in Fremont Street, now Wagon Wheel Inn. Here's John Martin, killed in 1882. He was killed while working on the Huachuca water line. The tested pipe was unplugged and a blast of water hurled a jack against his chest. He was a native of England. Okay, another unknown. Did you guys see that this guy was a native of England right here?
Yeah.
That's something? Wow.
Yeah.
These two lovely ladies are from England. Judge C. Lilly. Look at how nice his grave is stacked. Chaz Lilly in his younger years was one of the ablest members of the bar in California. His health was impaired by overwork and he died in Tombstone in September 1882. Unknown, these are stacked nice. J.D. Dermont. His spinal column was fractured when his horse fell with him while crossing the San Pedro River. Teamster, 1881, killed by Apache. Ernest Brodeen, 1882, he was murdered. A minor native of Germany was found dead in his cabin with 4 bullet wounds in his body. Suspected of the killing was his partner, with whom he had quarreled and who had now disappeared. John King, 1881, committed suicide. Okay. And I don't know. Oh, 2 cowboys. So it says 2 cowboys and they drowned. They buried them together. That was respectful. John Beather. Here's John Beather. He was hanged in 1881. Okay, this is Miles Sweeney. He was murdered in 1880. John Mackenzie. He died in 1881, but that's all I got here. Thomas Cowan, 1881, he was 11 months old. He died of diphtheria from an old resident. So, May Duty, she died of diphtheria 1881, and this information came from residents. John Gibson, a driver for an Audi 14, fell from a wagon and his skull was crushed when a wheel of a heavy wagon ran over his head. W.C. Bennett. Native of England, he died of heart trouble and was buried by the Knights of Pythias Lodge. Thomas Kearney, he was killed in 1882. Kearney and Simon Constantine were blown up by a blast. Oh, wow. Hilly Hickson, It was said that death never took a holiday in Tombstone. On this day, Hilly, a schoolboy, fell while walking on a pair of stilts and injured his back. He seemed only slightly injured, but the next morning he died suddenly with a spasm. This is Hicks. It was said that guess this is Hilly Hickson. This is the one who fell off the thing and broke his back. So then who is this?
Not of natural death.
I couldn't make out that one. Unknown. C.O. Ridgway. Died in 1882. His team of horses and wagon were found on a road leading out of Tombstone. Investigation showed Old Man Ridgway to be lying dead in the wagon. Unknown. This is H.B. Cook, died in 1882, and that's all it says. And this is Hayes with no death date. Pat Lynch died in 1883. Mrs. R.B. Campbell died in 1882. She was the wife of a restaurant owner of that name. She died very suddenly of severe stomach cramps, spasm, suspected poisoning. Malcolm Campbell, 1882. A kindly devout Christian man who died of pneumonia. Look at these. This is a really nice put together grave. There's Bobby Jackson and Frank Hart, who died in 1882. And that's really all they say about it. This is an unknown grave. Unknown grave. Unknown grave. Unknown grave. Unknown grave. Ooh, I gotta be careful right here. This is Frank Thoreau, shot over his mining claim. I would imagine that happened a lot out here. This is unknown. Unknown. Mrs. Stump. She has a nice locked-in grave. Who is Mrs. Stump? Mrs. Stump died in 1884. She died in childbirth from an overdose of chloroform given to her by her doctor. And this information was given by her family. And then we have some more unknowns. This is Delia Williams. She died suicide. Colored proprietress of a lodging house on Tough Nut Street. Suicide by taking arsenic. Unknown. Unknown. Another unknown. We gotta quit meeting like this. Pardon me. Unknown. 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 This is Christina B. Christensen, died in 1892. This is Han Christensen, who died in 1891. Unknown.
Oh, here's Sheriff White.
William Grounds died of wounds, 1882. He was shot in the face with a shotgun by one of the officers sent to question him in connection with the murder of M.R. Peel. Ben Scott and Al Bennett, Teamsters, and they were ambushed by Indians. Unknown. Duran, shot by Slaughter. Duran was shot when Slaughter sought to arrest him for his part in a train robbery. Alfred Packrell, 1882. English. He was a young miner, age 24, who died from inflammation of the bowels on grape. Red River Tom. Shot by Ormsby. William Alexander died in 1881. An old prospector who was fatally injured when a blast went off prematurely. George Fryer, who died in 1881. Unknown. Billy Kinsman. He was shot by a woman much older than he, who was jealously in love with him, and the information here was given by his niece. In memory of Mr. Peel, born May 31st, 1854, died March 25th, 1882. A young mining engineer who was shot one night in the office as he worked late. Suspicion fell on Zwing Hunt and Billy Grounds. Ms. John Gillespie, he was one of the officers sent to arrest Billy Grounds and Zwing Hunt, suspected killers of Mr. M.R. Peel. He died instantly when Hunt shot him in the head. He was a policeman. Or a sheriff. Here lies George Johnson, hanged by mistake in 1882. He was right, we was wrong, but we strung him up, and now he's gone. Okay. Geo Johnson, George Johnson, hanged by mistake. Johnson innocently bought a stolen horse and suffered the consequences. Seymour Dye, killed by Indians in 1882. Dye was 55 years old, and Harry Curry were good cutters. This day they were bringing in a load of hay when they were shot by Indians, who after their victims had fallen from the wagon dragged them for 150 feet. natural death in 1882. So far, that's the second natural death that I've seen out here. Everybody else either suicide or murdered. Meade, sudden death, 1881. Meade was a blacksmith for Sandy Bob's stable. He was found dead early one morning in the rear street of one of the coaches, or rear seat of one of the coaches. And W.N. William Simmers died of a blow from the black, which broke 2 ribs and ruptured his liver. Okay, Minnie Dowd died in 1881. M. McAllister, Happy Jack, had suffered a lung injury when he was shot in a fight over a piece of land. He was sent to Tombstone to recover, but died of the old injury, and the information came from his grandson. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, Alfred Cantrell died. He was shot in 1881. Old Man Cantrell, as he was known, was murdered by a man named Brown, who later hanged for his crime. This is Joseph Ziegler, murdered in 1882. Ziegler was only 27 years old. He was shot one night through the left breast and lived only a few minutes. He and Ed Williams, who shot him, were miners and had been quarreling while working that day. The murder took place behind the old ice house near the corner of Tough Nut and 5th Street. Mrs. Ben Olney, shot by Chacon. Okay, William Carpenter, who died in 1881. This grave was located by his son, who said his father had been the first Baptist minister in Tombstone. Death caused by nephritis. Nephritis. I'm going to have to look up. Simon Constantine. He and Thomas Kearney were blown up by a blast. Okay, this is Charlie Storms. He was shot by Luke Short in 1880. Okay, this is Charlie Storms, who was shot by Luke Short in 1880. Guns blazed again as these two gambling men met. Storms was shot in front of the Oriental Saloon where Short dealt cards. And Charlie Storm, that was the room we stayed in last night at the hotel. Okay, the only name we get here is Rosenthal, who died in 1881. And then we have another unknown. And another unknown. And then this unknown has a tree growing out of it, thorn tree growing out of it. Okay, right here we have Douglas Lilly, killed in 1881. Lilly, a driver for the Sycamore Water Company, was thrown from the wagon, trampled by the horses, and died instantly when the wagon ran over his head. Oh my God. Okay, here's another unknown with no headstone. Stinging lizard shot by Cherokee Hall. And here is Marshall Fred White, shot by Curly Bill in 1880. He was accidentally shot as he started to take Curly Bill's gun. This took place in the lot where the Birdcage Theater now stands. Too much shadow work. The sun is just all wrong for this. But I had my camera on the whole time I was doing that. Sorry about that. Helen Tina Kohler died in 1882. Latham Kohler died in 1884. Ralph Kohler died in 1882. And this is M. McCarty, who was shot in 1882. A miner who was shot by a man named Poplin. Okay, Will Deloge killed playing cards in 1883. It says, here lies Lester Moore, 4 slugs from a 44, no lies, no more. Moore was a Wells Fargo agent at NACO and had a dispute with a man over a package. Both died. Information from an old resident. Okay, here's an unknown. A tree growing out. It's Harry Carey. It says Harry Curry died in 1882 by Indians. He was killed with Seymour dye while hauling hay. Daniel Auer, who drowned in 1881. This is Kansas Kid. He was a cowboy killed by a stampede. Okay, we have an unknown here, an unknown here, and an unknown here, and an unknown here. Thomas Fitzhugh, who died in 1882. He was found dead one morning in the water closet back of Mrs. King's lodging house on Tonut Street, where he roomed. Okay, here's an unknown, and another unknown, and another unknown. It says 6-shooter Jim, shot by Bert Alvord in 1885. Another unknown. John Wickstrom died in 1882. Swede, who was killed when a well he was digging caved in. The information came from an old resident. Unknown. Unknown. Wait a minute. Cowboy Bill King. He was shot by Bert Alvord. Ormsby, who was shot, that's all it says. John Gibbon died in 1882 with Malvina Lopez. He climbed the golden stairs on the fumes from a pan of charcoal. From the files of Lester G. Baker, one-time editor of the Tombstone Epitaph. This is Glenn Will. He was born in 1871 and he died in 1953. McNamoni, shot in 1882. Okay, Killeen, shot by Frank Leslie in 1880. Results of a disagreement over Killeen's wife, Leslie, and Leslie then married the widow. Unknown. James Tully, who was killed in 1881. Tully was a miner employed by the Grand Central Mining Company. To avoid being crushed as the cage shot upward toward the timbers overhead, Tully jumped and fell 250 feet to the bottom of the shaft. Okay, unknown and unmarked. Joseph Thomas died in 1881 and he was shot. He was a teamster for Shear's lumber wagons and was found with 4 bullet wounds in his body. Indian Joe, another teamster, was believed to have killed him as both teams were found abandoned by the roadside. I believe the teamsters are the people who, you know, the wagon trains or the wagons with a lot of horses. Okay, I'm thinking of that. Peter Crawley killed in 1881. Coach Annie, who died in 1883, and sometimes called the Queen of the Red Light District. And this is an unknown. Three-fingered Jack Dunlop, shot by Jeff Melton. Dunlop, one of a band of train robbers. Where is he? Right there. Attempted to rob an express car, which Milton guarded. He was officially wounded, and his friends left him to die. He was found and brought to Tombstone, where he lived long enough to inform on his friends. Okay, Billy Clanton, is there anything you'd like to say? Were you murdered? Why did you take part in that battle? What happened? Who started it? Can you say your name? Can you say Billy? Or Billy Clanton? Or even just Clanton? Came over at Frank McCrory. Frank, are you here? don't think you want to say anything. Hey, Tom, anything you want to say? Can you say your name? Speak into this device in my hand. Did you die at the OK Corral? Or did you die outside of the OK Corral? I want to put the truth out there. I didn't get anything there. Okay, so I'm using my SLS ghost tube voice recorder, and I just want to ask Billy, Frank, or Tom, what happened out here, or what happened in Tombstone? I'm getting ready to leave here. Is there anything you'd like to say? You could say something like murdered, death.
Julie.
Julie. Okay. I don't know. Maybe you knew somebody named Julie. I don't know. Give me something that relates to your death in Tombstone. I don't need random names. I'm going to walk around this one time. Don't leave? Why don't you want me to leave? Why do you want me to stay? Do you want me to record something for you? Tell me something that relates to your death. Who killed me? Who killed me? Who killed you? You can say Doc. You could say Wyatt. You could say Morgan. You can say Virgil. You can say shot. Just give me something, one thing about your death. Okay, if you don't say anything, I'm going to walk away. Okay, Margarita, so if there's anything you want to say, there's the time to do it. I want to try to get some truth out there. Can you tell me who killed you? It's a golden dollar carved out your house, or your heart. Is that true? Can you tell me where you died? Okay, I got a device on the headstone. Can you knock it off, the headstone? Knock it off toward the back of your headstone for me. Spirit box. Try one more thing. Okay, I got another device in my hand. Can you talk into it? Rose.
Monster.
Monster.
Dumb. Where am I?
You are in Boothill Cemetary in Tombstone, Arizona, and the year is 2022. Can you say your name? Or can you say my name? My name is Greg. Can you say my name? Why did you say Rose? Could that have been the original name of Golden Dollar? The woman who killed you? Can you tell me how you died? You can say something like heart. You could say heart attack. You could say stabbed. You could say murdered. Something like that.
Ow, knife.
Very good. Very good. Yes. A knife.
Ow, knife.
Very good. Very good. Yes. A knife.
Ow, knife.
Very good. Very good. Yes. A knife. And Golden Dollar, she carved your heart out. Is that right? If you can, just say yes or no. Well, that concludes our investigation at Boothill Cemetery. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. Come back again as we investigate more of our haunted stuff. We'll see you next time.